Welcome to Whispers. Sunday Igboho, the Nigerian car salesman going after cattle herders. In Nigeria, clashes between ethnic Fulanis and other groups have cost thousands of lives in the past decades, and now a car salesman has emerged as a controversial national figure in this increasingly deadly conflict, as BBC reports. Hailed as a hero by his supporters, Sunday Igboho Adeyemo is seen as a dangerous rebel-rouser by his opponents, accused of inciting ethnic hatred and killing. Once only known in his part of southwestern Nigeria, he has now become one of the most talked about and divisive figures across the country. Through a series of inflammatory statements, Mr. Adeyemo has been thrust into the heart of one of Nigeria's most deadly ethnic divides, the conflict between Fulani herders and other groups over access to land and grazing rights. Last month, after the killing of a politician, Mr. Adeyemo felt he had seen enough and captured attention with his demand that the Fulani herders from northern Nigeria leave the southwest, seen as the home of the Yoruba ethnic group, for all their alleged crimes. But this self-styled defender of the defenseless, popularly known as Igboho, after his hometown in southwest Oyo State, is no stranger to controversy and deadly conflicts. The 48-year-old has been licensed locally for his role in the late 1990s in the age-old intra-Yoruba communal battles. His reputed exploits were acted out in a feature film that was a fantastical display of magic, charms, and juju. In one scene where a rival gangs face off, the actor playing Mr. Adeyemo arrives on a motorcycle, picks up a poisoned banana, and calmly hits half of it without feeling any ill effects. He then plucks a machine gun out of thin air and fires at his opponent, who flee in every direction. That film and other tales about him, such as he walks around with a snake around his neck, have contributed to a local reputation of invisibility. Born in 1972 in Igboho, Oyo State, he runs a dealership selling new and second-hand cars. He was a motorcycle mechanic in his early years and has a foundation named after him that caters for the needy. It is not clear how he came into the car business that he operates out of the city of Ibadan, but it seems to have made a success of it, selling everything from new Rolls Royces to second-hand Toyotas. His clientele include powerful politicians and governors, and he is often seen with them in public. Mr. Adeyemo achieved some national notoriety last October when he used the country's Independence Day to call for the creation of an independent Yoruba Republic, although he was widely ridiculed for the idea. Now, though, as he has become a lightning rod for local grievances, is being taken more seriously. Land rights are the core of those grievances. Fulani herders and their family walk for hundreds of kilometers from the extreme north to central Nigeria and beyond at least twice a year to find best grazing land for their cattle. But this has often led to friction with local communities who accuse their cattle of trampling on their crops and sometimes accuse the herders accused the herders of robbery and other crimes. Some of the herders are also employed by rich Southerners who own the cattle but employ the Fulani to look after them. A federal government plan approved in 2019 to solve the problem by creating ranches for the herdsmen was rejected by most southern governors who accused President Muhammadu Buhari, a Fulani, of hatching a plot to grab land for his people. In the past few years, clashes has become more deadly as both the Fulani and those opposed to them have set up armed self-defense militias. In the southwest, state governors established a regional security outfit, Amoteco, to help deal with the problem. Open grazing has been banned in all the 6 western states. Tensions were ignited in December after the killing of Fatai Aborode in Oyo State. Mr. Adeyemo decided to take matters into his own hands and told the Fulanis to go, without providing any evidence of their involvement in that killing or other alleged crimes. After his 7-day ultimatum expired in January, he held a rally in the area where the killing took place, after which the homes of some more settled Fulani who had been part of the community for generations were burned. Abdulkadir Saliu, the leader of the Fulanis in the area, whose house was touched and who has now fled, accused Mr. Adeyemo of instigating the trouble. At the mention of Igboho's name, I get scared that Shiva, he said, adding he had never seen violence like it. He also alleged that his younger brother was killed. Mr. Adeyemo denied responsibility for the trouble, saying that the police had been with him all through the time he was in the area. But he also traveled to Yewa in Ogun State to evict Fulani herders. There he was received by a joyous crowd and whipped them up by saying that killer herdmen had escaped justice because the herdsmen are close to the federal government. Any Fulani herdsman who engages in kidnapping should be flushed out, he added. Police say they are investigating both incidences but will not say if he is a suspect. His actions has been widely condemned, especially by groups in northern Nigeria, who accuse him of inciting ethnic violence and engaging in the unlawful eviction of citizens. Some political leaders in the southwest have joined in the criticism, but there has also been massive support for him in the region. Federal lawmaker Shina Pella wrote a message on Instagram saluting Mr. Adeyemo's courage, bravery, and participation in this struggle. A GoFundMe account to raise money for his cause received more than 10 million, that is £19,000, and in dollars $26,000 in less than 24 hours. Mr. Adeyemo sympathizers accused the federal government of not doing enough to stop the attack on local communities by herdsmen. Borno Governor Samuel Otom, whose state was until recently the epicenter of deadly clashes between the herders and farmers, believes that the crisis has been enabled by the leniency of the president towards the Fulani herders. Information Minister Lai Mohammed said he would not be drawn into a reaction on the governor's comments, telling the BBC that Nigerians have a right to live in all parts of the country. Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, who is from the southwest, also criticized Mr. Buhari's silence on the activities of herders, saying it could develop into a civil war. We are in it already. What do you expect of us now that the war is on our doorstep? Of course, there will be mobilization, and if we keep waiting for this to be centrally handled, we are all going to become, if we are not already, slaves in our land, he told BBC. Shoyinka said Mr. Adeyemo had responded to the situation in the way he knew how. Attempts are being made to quell the tensions, and even Mr. Adeyemo has said he is open to talks with the government. But some are now describing him as the savior who rode up in a shining car and rescued his people from the cattle herders. For someone who has compared himself to biblical figures, it is a label he will bask in. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Yeah. BBC, that is authentic source, authentic news. So, yeah. Well, there you have it from our very own Osha. So I leave this with you guys. I don't have anything to say. I mean, BBC has covered it all. Yeah. Well done, BBC. Well done. Well done. So till I come your way again. Bye.